Sponsored by Taylor Freelance, Rainier Ballistics, Hodgson Powders, and JPL Precision.
Hey Power Factor fans, I'm Rick, and I just want to do a little blurb on the prize table from the Washington State IDPA Championship. As I've mentioned in the past, my track record of winning a gun has been an absolute display of futility, but along the way I've gotten some cool stuff, and this year is no different. The guys on the staff work really hard to attract sponsors. It makes the match more appealing when you not only have a good match with a good lunch, nice awards, but if there's a prize table where everybody gets something top to bottom, that's really great, and that includes the staff. We do a little staff party about a month after the match. Staff gets reconvenes. We can tell lies about the match, what people did or didn't do or supposed to do, have a little dinner, and then we have our own prize drawing. And so I just wanted to tell you what I got, describe what I got, show it off, and as a way of thanking the sponsors. So what I got this year, first item, is a BCM Gunfighter charging handle. It's part for the AR rifle, and it's an advance on the standard design in a couple of ways. One, it's an ambidextrous part. You can activate the charging handle from either side. It's got a latch. Normally the latch is only on one side. This part has the latch on both sides. And current doctrine is that you want to keep your strong hand on the pistol grip while you're doing your manipulations, reloads, clearance drills, and whatnot. So having the latch available on both sides, lefty, righty, if you're shooting around the opposite side of a barricade using your weak hand, whatever the case may be. And then there's also a redesign of the mechanism on the standard charging handle. The force is mostly being directed into a small split pin that the latch rotates around. It's a complicated way to describe it. But when you activate it, this pivot point is this small roll pin. And this design, it has a kind of what looks to me like an internal, more like a gear system that takes the pressure off of that pin and directs it into the large, strongest part of the casting, if it is indeed a casting. But it essentially directs that force into the strongest part of the part instead of into that weak little pin. So it's a cool design. I haven't had a chance to use it. Of course, when you're shooting from the bench, it's not going to do much good. But if you're shooting 3-gun, anything that requires quick manipulations, it's an advance on the standard one, if a little more complicated, a little more functional. So again, it's one of those items where here I am kind of introducing it, but we'll take it to the range and I'll report back on it. So the other item I got off the prize table at the state championship was this cool UnderTech Undercover garment. Now I was going to put it on and show it off, but I think you'd rather see this guy's studly form than my mid-50s, sits at a desk all day chest. So you see it's a compression style garment along the lines of an Under Armour shirt that has a holster essentially built into both sides. So whatever outer garment you want to wear, you can just put it on over this and you've got your gun on regardless of how you're dressed, as long as having this t-shirt, this crew neck t-shirt look isn't inappropriate. They also make a V-neck, so you have some choices. And it just has again, it's ambidextrous, so there's a holster on both sides. And here I've got displaying how it would be configured if I were wearing it with the holster underneath my right arm for a left-hand draw. Now you can see it's actually 2 pockets, one for the gun with a strap to retain it, and then there's also a second pouch here, and you can put a magazine in there, you could put a wallet in there, cell phone, passport or something, and because you have one on each side, there's actually quite a bit of storage space for whatever kind of valuables you don't want, arrayed in your pockets. I know when I'm moving around in a crowd, I'm often thinking about pickpockets, and I've got a folding knife, exposed on my hip, and I often think, it would be nice to have some of that stuff maybe tucked away. And so this shirt provides that for you with the essentially a holster and an additional pouch on each side. Now this gun is all steel. This was my famous Smith & Wesson 539, and it weighs 36 ounces. So it's probably not the ideal gun to be carrying around under your attached to a t-shirt. I think this design is probably a little more suitable for something like an M&P Shield or a Kel-Tec or something like that, a small plastic framed gun that isn't going to be too much of a burden being supported just by a t-shirt. So it's a cool idea. I really like this. I mean, it's one of those things that people are always talking about specialized clothing, that it screams gun. If you're wearing your 511s out on the street, everybody knows you've got a gun. If you're wearing a fanny pack, everybody knows you've got a gun. There's always a sense that every person who's walking out on the street is familiar with all the stuff that's available as shooting accessories and stuff. And while I don't buy that, certainly keeping it hidden under whatever your outer shirt is a good way to go. I know a lot of people will wear, say, a Hawaiian shirt over a t-shirt so that they have a shirt that covers the gun. Well, in this case, you've got your gun in your t-shirt, and whatever garment you have on over it, whether it's another shirt or a jacket or whatever, depending on the weather, is going to be perfectly adequate. So it's cool. I will wear it, test it, and maybe next time you see me on the show, I'll have it on and you won't even notice. Okay, Power Factor fans, another kind of product review. This one is actually a review because I've actually used it. This is a little cleaning tool, and it's called the Calbico Channel Cleaning Tool. And it's just I was going to say plastic, but it's a high-tech polymer cleaning tool. And as you can see, I'll remove it from the packaging, the ends of it are shaped and sized so that you can easily clean all of the little channels and grooves in your pistol. So I shot a 1911 style pistol at the match last Saturday. A guy at our club did a group buy because it was one of those deals where, if you buy one of them, you pay $5 shipping. And if you buy 10 of them, you pay $5 shipping. So he bought like a group buy, delivered it to me. I got home, was going to clean my gun, had to clean my gun. And so I pulled it out and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, this end looks like it's perfectly dimensioned for cleaning the slide and frame rails. So if you've got an automatic pistol, you wrap a patch or a paper towel around that and you can just nicely clean up and down the rails on the slide and the frame. The other thing that I noticed, one of the irritating parts of cleaning a 1911 is there's an extremely narrow slot in the slide that the ejector is running in. And it's so thin that I try to get in there with like if you have an M16 toothbrush, it's got the big end and the small end, and the small end is pretty small, and I try to get it in there, and then I try to fold up a paper towel and stuff it in there, and I've never really been too satisfied with it. But the small end on this is perfect. I mean, I might even guess that that's exactly what this is for, is cleaning that narrow little slot in the slide that runs over the ejector. So I'm sure there's all kinds of nooks and crannies in there. I noticed that it's thin enough, the tip, that I could also clean the space between the tip of the disconnector and the ejector. That's fairly narrow in there. I just wrap something around the paper towel or a patch and you can run it in there. Any little corners inside the frame, it's a neat little piece. And so I highly recommend it already after using it once. Again, it's the Calbico Channel Cleaning Tool.